Want to take a vacation but don't know how to plan it? How do you find the best credit card for getting miles? How early should you begin planning? Are the airport elite clubs worth the money? If you have questions, we have answers. This is Asistuhbegoingplaces, the podcast that helps you make better travel decisions, save money, and enjoy your excursions. Co-hosts Vicky Young and Tyrone Griffin answer travel-related questions and give tips on how to make vacations more enjoyable and more budget-friendly by using simple planning techniques. Neither of the co-hosts are paid travel professionals, but they love to travel and have developed tips and strategies they want to share. The best vacations are when you enjoy your activities and don't feel like you got ripped off. If you have a travel-related question, you can send it to asistuhbegoingplaces@gmail.com or post it on the Facebook page, Asistuhbegoingplaces, and they'll try to give you a well-thought-out answer on an upcoming show. And if you like the show, please leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
I can hear you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Look at her sister got the guns out. What's up with that?
Try.
What's up with that? Got the guns out. Yeah. We see them. We see them. They ain't got to go all
Look, I
Vin
work
Diesel
hard for
on us.
these
We see
guns. I work out real hard.
Well, that's good. Good morning. Good morning to you. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You got headphones on?
Yeah. It's on all my hair.
We had that talk this week. Let me stop. How are you? Everything good to you this morning? Everything
Yes.
going well? Oh,
Everything's
okay.
going
All right.
well.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sweating over here.
I see. You okay?
Nah, it's there's lights here and it's hot.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, let's go ahead and get started. You look good, by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we had that talk. You kicking it. So today's show, this is Sister Be Going Places, the podcast, the Q&A podcast that answer your questions about travel, how to plan it, how to do it, and how to enjoy it. Is that right?
That's it. That's it.
Okay. All right. Make sure I nailed it. So today's show, we're going to kind of flip the script because I guess you're going to be asking the questions and I got to answer them. But today's show is about how bad credit affects your travel plans.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. And I'm going to start off by saying this. Bad credit affects your whole life.
Everything.
I mean, in so many ways.
Yes.
Not having good credit just affects everything you do. So let me kick it over to you. And I know you probably got a question or two about this. So let's I'll be the sister that be going places and you be the geeky host. So bring it out.
Well, you know what? This is definitely a sensitive topic for you. You always you're into the finances and you're always into talking about the importance of credit and all that stuff. And I totally agree with you. And it's very important when it comes to travel. I would say, just to clear it up, if you want to collect membership rewards or get a lot of rewards, because right now you have, let's clear this up. You can travel and collect membership rewards without having to have credit cards that allow you to do that. You can do that. People do it every day, but
Right.
it helps if you have the co-brand card. Say, for instance, your airline of choice is Delta, and you have a co-brand card with Delta that's rendering through American Express. These days, they are giving all these promotions, these different promotions, where you can earn 75,000 miles or 100,000 miles if you open a credit card and you spend $3,000 to $5,000 within 3 months' time. You can earn so many reward miles or points, as you say, and you can use that information. You can use those miles to travel. You could take 50,000 miles in round trip and you can go to Italy today. You can go to Paris. You can go any of these places. Or you could take that same money, those membership rewards, and you can use them on hotels. So it helps to have good credit so you can be able to apply for those different cards, so you can be able to earn a lot of those miles, because that's all I talk about is miles. And I think you remember that from day one of you and I having conversations about travel, is like the miles, the miles, the miles, the miles. So with that being said, me being a beginner, let's just say I'm a beginner traveler and I want to start earning miles. I've never done it before and I want to start traveling. Do you have any suggestions on what I should do as far as making sure my credit is right if I want to open a card? What do you suggest first steps for me to take if I want to just jump into this membership rewards world?
Well, first, the thing is, and we've all, well, I won't say all, but most of us have been there where we had bad credit at one point or another. We, we got out of school, whatever, in our 20s and 30s. Yeah. Credit was easy. They was giving us plastic. We wanted this, we wanted that, and we just went and bought too much stuff.
Yes.
Or, we did travel. The thing is, a lot of people use credit to travel and they don't think about saving money because the credit is easy.
Yes.
Because it's easy. Oh, I got a credit card. I got a $2,000 limit. Jamaica costs $1,000. Boom, I'm going to Jamaica. Yes. Plain and simple. And leave it at that. I'm going. I'm not going to look. I got a price. I can afford it. I'm going. So we've all been there, or most of us, again, where we've had bad credit at one point in our lives. In my experience, at least for me, the difference between having good credit and bad credit sometimes comes down to discipline.
Yeah.
Granted, you have financial problems here and there, but a lot of times, when you're just buying things because it's easy, and we don't often teach our children those lessons. So get off my soapbox there. The first thing I think you ought to do when you want to establish credit, because the thing about credit with travel, it helps you double dip. All these things you're talking about, it comes down to double dipping, using these dollars in 2 or 3 different ways. And that's what you do when you get your miles and we get this. But when you start looking at credit cards, what credit cards you want to have, you got to look for credit cards that will give you something back.
Yeah.
Okay. All credit cards will give you a credit history, but what else can you get for it? Are they going to give you miles? Like if you have the Delta American Express card, you get miles for everything you're buying. Okay. So if you can use a lot of the thing, if you can use your credit cards to buy things that you were already going to buy. Say if your monthly utilities are $1,000 a month, hypothetical situation, and you could pay them with a credit card. Now, the next month when that bill comes, you pay it off. So you really haven't spent any more than you would have spent anyway. Yeah. But if you put them on this credit card, you might be able to get miles for it. Now, you got 1,000 miles. Okay, that's not a lot, but that's something.
Exactly.
Do that every month. Put your grocery bill if you pay it with a credit card instead of cash. Okay. But again, you're not buying anything that you wouldn't have bought anyway. You're not spending money that you wouldn't have spent. But what you're doing is you're using those dollars in 2 different ways. One, to buy groceries, and then those same dollars are padding your miles balance. So you do that 3 or 4 months, all of a sudden you got 3,000 or 4,000 miles. Yeah. Now, again, that may not be enough to get you where you want to go, but you do that over years.
Yep.
And it's like, I used to think that's what the rich people do. Yeah, but that's what smart people do too. Mm-hmm. I had a friend who used to use her Disney credit card. She got a Disney credit card and she used it all year long. And when it came time to go on her Disney vacation, she would have enough points accumulated on that Disney credit card to pay for their tickets. So now she's saving $1,000, and that's real money you're saving now. Yes. You're saving that. And what did you do? She didn't go spend $1,000. She did what she normally was going to do. So when you start thinking about travel, it's like the first thing you want to do is get a card that will give you something back, whether it be miles or points or however they accumulate. See, back in the day when you used to have the book you used to be able to go to the book and get all kinds of, you get this many points, you can buy this. You get this many points, you can buy that. I got my first iPod. I'm point blank telling you serious. I got my first iPod, with points. I got a panini bread sandwich maker that I have never opened, but I never paid nothing for it because it's in the closet, right? I got it with points. So long answer to a short question, but you want to try to get cards, look at the cards you get, because you're going to get all kinds of offers.
Yes.
What are they giving you back? You know,
Agree.
that's something we'll probably talk on and touch on in a few minutes. But you know, the annual fee versus no annual fee.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us, you know, me included, used to say, I ain't paying no annual fee for no credit card.
And people don't.
I've
But
kind of looked back at that.
and what's interesting
Right.
is a lot of us don't think about they don't think about the annual fees and all that stuff. I know people just really apply for cards just to see if they can get the cards, and they don't really think about the benefits of what is coming from those cards. Because when I get them, I would say back in the day, you're right. I went crazy with credit cards, and I've been extremely fortunate enough in my adulthood where I've gained some sense. It's been an expensive lesson where I've, learned how to manage my credit. And because I was like, that's a good way to be able to travel if you can earn the rewards and use that towards tickets, hotels, purchases, and then like you say, look at the perks that you're going to get from the cards. I'm paying this annual fee, but I'm paying this annual fee. However, I'm getting access to the clubs, getting access to the lounges. I get, this airfare fee every year. I get, so all these perks comes along with it. You have to see how those going to benefit you, and you got to make sure you use them, because if you're not using a lot of the perks that you're getting, you're actually losing money. And so it's important to just, before you start applying for them, especially if you want to get in this travel game, it's easy to earn those rewards, and you can travel the world, because I do it. You can travel the world and you don't have to pay a whole bunch of money I'm going on a trip next month, and I only have to pay for my round trip ticket, I think, and that's with an upgrade to Economy Plus. It was like $112. And because I got this airfare credit, it covered over half of that. So it's like you can travel, but you got to also be smart about it. You just can't get the cards and book a ticket. Because I had to kind of just put myself on a plan. I only use my cards to pay for stuff that I'm going to pay for anyway. However, if I do something like this week, I'm paying all this stuff this week, I'll go on and pay it this week. I can pay my account. I can pay on my cards as much as I want to. I don't have to wait until the end of the month and have $1,000 bill. I can pay over time throughout the month, and see at the end of the month, I don't have a balance to pay because I paid it over time. So I keep the app on my phone. I just log in and I was like, okay, I spent $400 this week. Pay that $400 because I was going to spend it anyway. So I do it that way to make sure I keep myself in check versus having to wait. So you have to think about yourself, how you're going to be using the credit when you get it, and definitely how you're going to be paying for it, because that's the key there. You got to pay this stuff back.
No, you're right. But you touch on it, using the miles in different ways. Like I'm saying, you double dip. Just think about that. That's what you do. You pay for this. Say you bought a TV, whatever. You spent $400. Boom. You put it on this card, so you got 400 points.
Yep.
Okay. You did this. You got another 200 points. Did that. You got another things that you were going to spend money on anyway.
Yep.
So in effect, like you said, you're going on your trip next month, and we're gonna do a show from there, right?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Just making sure. But you think about what you are saving on that trip, and you didn't really do anything different. It just you did things different. You didn't spend more, and that's the trick. Is to so when you start talking about getting into the game with credit cards, look at your lifestyle. Look at how you live.
Yes.
Because the worst thing is you change your lifestyle for a credit card, because that's crazy.
Yes.
And people do it. Like, I got this card, now I got to buy this stuff.
Yes.
What was it back in the day? What was the place called? Finger Hut?
Yeah.
Remember we was kids? Everybody parent had a Finger Hut account, and their child's name, but we won't go there. But we were buying stuff. People were buying stuff that just to get stuff. When you start spending money for your points, then you're reducing the value of them points, in my opinion. But here's a strategy. I knew somebody who was very close to getting a free ticket, to getting enough points to get a free ticket overseas. So they took a weekend trip to California from Atlanta. Did a round trip, just one ticket. And it's like, well, you spent, $200 on that ticket. Yeah,
No
but
more.
that put me over this much. So I got an $800 ticket for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a free $800 ticket for spending this $200.
Yeah.
But that's what good credit allows you to do.
Yeah.
To do those kind of things. Think about when you were when you just went on your trip, and we talked about it when you dropped that big brick on that big brick platinum card on the desk, bam, and they were like, no. It's like they're like, we don't know what that is. Put that back in your pocket.
I know.
But if you got good enough credit, I mean, thank God you had a debit card that you could go ahead and pay for things on. But think about if that's a lesson because you had a plan B.
Yeah.
Think about how many people will go on a trip like that and all they got is that one credit card that they're expecting, again, to drop it on every store.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, we don't take that in this country.
Yep.
And you're like, well, yeah.
Yep. I've been there.
But now, did you have a backup card?
No.
Ooh, what'd you do?
Because it's like you go, and this was back when I didn't have sense enough to plan properly.
Right.
I end up with friends that said, I'll cover this and you cover this later. So I had someone to back, but I've gone with just enough for what I need. So if I had to do something different, I couldn't afford to do it. So it's like I had everything planned out. This is for my hotel. This is what I'm going to use for this. This is what I'm going to use for that. And if something happened that was unexpected, I wasn't prepared for it. So, and I'm being transparent here because that's what we're talking about. It's just, that's why you got to think about it in more than just having a credit card to just start charging stuff, or, having a charge card to just start charging stuff. And there is a difference between the two.
Yeah.
There's the credit card, which you can carry a balance, and there's a charge card, which you have to pay back every month. And you got to know the difference between the two before you start opening those accounts and knowing whether or not you can cover the cost at the end of the month, or knowing whether or not you can carry the balance and pay that balance off. And so it's like, I've been on the other side, and that's why I can say how important it is to make sure that when you start opening those accounts, that you are educating yourself before you do it. It's good to have them, but how are you going to be able to maintain them once you get them?
Yeah, so we all been there. Mine was jacked up.
Yeah, you walking around here with Amex, don't you? Mr. American Express, don't even go there. Look.
I know you ain't trying to say that because you know what a brother been through. So they didn't deliver my card. They didn't deliver my card with white gloves. That's all I'm gonna say. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But back on the topic, about bad credit, you're wrong. The thing about, here's the thing, bad credit. We're talking about it in the context of just travel, but you got bad credit. You might not. I mean, you're going to pay more for everything, and that's the thing that I don't think people realize. You get a car note. You're going to pay more for your car than the next person because of a number.
Yeah.
That number, your credit rating, that number affects your pocket. You might end up paying $50, $70 more a month for the same car the person down the street is getting because of that number. You go to get an apartment. They look at your credit score. Here's bad. You think about buying a house. You're talking about something that's going to be with you for 30 years.
Utilities.
Yeah.
They check your credit with utilities. So it affects everything.
Yeah.
And
I mean, just about, this is.
No, you go on.
No, go ahead.
No, you go on.
I was just going to say, even you can get turned down for some jobs.
Yes.
And I was like, really? And I
Yeah.
looked into it, like, yeah, if you at a certain level, if you have a certain, in the financial industry or in the security industry, if you got bad credit, that means you could be compromised. You know, if you're living above your means, that means you can be compromised. You know, you go to work for the CIA and they don't want a spy who's got bad credit, where some other foreign country or even some people here can say, we'll pay off that for you if you just tell us what's going on over here. You're
Yeah.
able to be compromised. So it affects your life in so many different ways. Now, this is a shameless plug from my other podcast, The Secret Math of Money, which probably the next episode we're going to go into a whole lot more detail on credit. But that was just a shameless plug. But I'm sorry, Vicky, you were saying something. That's how smooth I did that. But you were saying
Good for you. That was a good one, though. That was
I was holding that for about 10 minutes in my head trying to figure out when the opening was. but you know, we were just talking in general, just travel. If you decide you want to travel, if that's the lifestyle that you want to have, by being disciplined and everything, a lot of things in life is really, tell me if I'm wrong, it goes down to discipline.
Yes, you're right.
You know, of having discipline to do things. Good credit is a discipline.
Yeah.
And if you do it, as you know, you can do a whole lot of travel for a lot less than the next person.
Yeah.
You know,
And you don't have to
remember
pay
a couple of
lot for it. You don't have to pay a lot for it because you're planning. Yep. It's just like planning.
The thing about credit, your credit score, that's right. But the thing about credit score is how much it's going to cost you to rent money, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because that's all you're doing. You're renting money.
That's a good way
You are
to put
just renting, you know, I need $400 for this TV. I'm going to rent it on this card that's going to be 28%. Or because this person's got good credit, they can rent it on this card that's going to be 12%. I mean, it gets into credit risk. I just read recently, you know, your insurance costs more because the insurance companies have noticed that people with low credit scores file more file more accident claims. You know, so I mean, it affects so much of your life. But particularly the thing about travel, because there's two aspects of travel from a financial standpoint. The one is how much it costs you to rent the money to pay for it. But the other, which is your wheelhouse, your expertise in, is how do you get the number as low as possible? You know what I'm saying? Like, remember a couple of months ago, somebody came to us and they wanted to know about a trip to Jamaica. And they had a number that was $1,400 for that weekend. And you, in 20 minutes, found the same, not even the same, it was a better because they had a room by themselves. And you found it for what, $900, $1,100 or $1,000?
Yeah.
So that's the one point. They would save $400 off the top.
Yes.
Then the second part is when your credit comes in. It's like, okay, how much is it going to cost me to rent the $1,000 to pay for this?
Yes.
You know, so it's two different aspects. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling, which I don't usually
No,
do.
I mean, it's a good point. You have a good point because I know my trip that I'm going on next month, you know, they entice you to pay because my card tells me that if I pay in advance, I can get 5 times the membership rewards that I would get if I just pay from the hotel. That's me being like membership reward crazy. I'm looking at that thinking, okay, you know what? I didn't just jump on it. I reserved it to pay at the hotel, but then I sat back and I thought about it. I said, okay, how can I do this? What do I need to do this one? Because I want those 5 times the miles because that's a big chunk. How can I do this? So I already got the hotel booked to pay when I get there, but I want to pay it in advance so I can get the memberships. So sometimes you have to just step back instead of just jumping in when you see something that seems enticing. Just sit back and think about it. How is it going to affect my life this week? So I'm going to pay this amount of money, which I wouldn't normally have to pay for anything. but I got to pay it back
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the month. So how am I going to be able to do this? And so
Mm-hmm.
once I sat back and I thought about it, then I was like, okay, I can do this and this and this and this, and I'll have it and be able to pay it off at the end of the month. So I look at stuff like that. I plan it out versus just jumping in, just, oh, I'm going to get these and I'll just deal with it later. No, you have to
Mm-hmm.
think about it and apply it to your lifestyle and your other bills and stuff that you have that you still have to pay, and then
Mm-hmm.
move forward. Sometimes you just can't pay in advance. And it's like, but
Right.
I still have the exact same hotel that I was going to stay at, and I would have to pay there. But I was like, no, I want the miles. And so I sat back and I figured it out, and I was able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, something you touched on a little while ago, we kind of glossed over it, was when we were talking about the entry, when you first get a card, some of these
Hmm.
offers.
Yes.
And, I was saying, okay, you spend $1,000, you get 1,000 miles. If you got good credit, and I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, I had to work on it, and I got that Amex card, and I spent $2,000, and I got 60,000 miles.
Yes.
All right, I didn't spend $60,000 to get 60,000. I spent $2,000 over 3 months, and got 60,000 miles.
But you
Thank
spent
God
the money on something
yeah,
that you were going to spend it on anyway.
exactly. So it didn't really cost me anything else. But
Hmm.
thank God I had the credit to get that. But
Yes.
that's what having good or decent credit does for you. Now I got 60,000 miles. With that, I could probably get a round trip ticket someplace for free.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So now, it didn't
But you
cost me
could get
nothing.
3 domestic round trip tickets and maybe 1 international round trip ticket.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You have all that right up there. you got all the miles right up there. You can go to San Quentin, or you all that right there. I forgot
Right
who I'm
there.
talking to. The chart memorized, right? But that's a good point. Now think about that. I didn't spend no extra money, and all of a sudden I can fly someplace for free.
Yes.
So I got something for free. That is what having good credit can do for you. And again, it all goes back to discipline because, like I said, we all have had that time when we just, unless we was born with a silver spoon in our mouth, we all had
Yes.
that time when we was young and we just started rolling, boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
And, all of a sudden we woke up one day and I mean, I ain't gonna lie, mine was jacked. Mine was jacked for a long time. I ain't gonna get into the reasons why, but it was jacked. And the worst part of it is when you look at all you done spend, all that you owe, and you're like, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't what? I ain't got nothing. But I got all this every month. I'm getting hit with this. And when you're jacked up because you start getting offers from people you don't know. They start, they start sending you a letter. Hey, your credit jacked up. Like, man, how you know? We can help. And all of a sudden, every show you watch got that commercial where the guy's talking about, do you owe $80,000 in credit card debt? Do you know that legally they have to negotiate with you? And it's like, and you sitting there like this. Okay, but really, that's we joke about stuff, but seriously, from a standpoint
That's
of
a big
just getting
deal.
through life, having good credit makes your life a lot easier. You can enjoy things for a lot cheaper,
Yeah. That's true.
and you have backup. Like I said, if you go to a foreign place and you only got one credit card and they don't
Hmm.
take it, as we used to say, booty out, as
Yep.
opposed to, you know, the word I was thinking. But as opposed to, if you got, and the goal is just not to get a lot of cards. The
Yeah.
goal is to get the right cards, the cards that help and serve your lifestyle.
Yes.
Is that an accurate statement?
That
So
you can
I didn't
afford to
ramble.
have.
Hmm.
That you
Yes.
can afford to
So
have.
so we only got a few minutes left, and I know I've been running my mouth.
No, you did a
Um,
good job.
what did I miss? What did we miss? Anything that you could think of? Because you're the expert on the travel. I mean, I know finance, but you're a close second on that. I'm gonna give it to you because you have from experience. I went to school and learned some things. You went to life and learned some things,
Yes. I would
and
say
that's so I mean,
I would say what you do when you start, especially if you start to get into the membership rewards programs, sign up for those things. Sign up for
Mm-hmm.
your airline of choice membership reward program. Sign up for your
Yep.
hotel of choice membership
Yep.
reward program. Sign up for the rental cars. Even if you don't use credit, you can still
Mm-hmm.
earn reward miles and points on those
Something.
different
Right.
places. And then next thing you know, I have a
That's
friend
right.
who just told me this week, she was like, I had an emergency where I had to go out of town. And she said, my kids are in school, all this stuff. And she was like, I just couldn't afford to do it. She said, but I remember, let me check my hotel rewards. And she was like, and I looked at that and I had the hotel miles to get the free rooms. I didn't have to pay. And I was like, that's a blessing. She was like, I just
Mm.
wasn't. She was like, so that's why it's important to just register for those things, whether you use credit or not,
Yep.
because you're still earning
Yep.
points and miles so you can use them
Mm-hmm.
later. And if you don't get anything
Mm-hmm.
free, you can save money. You know, if you can save two or three
Mm-hmm.
hundred
Yeah.
dollars,
Yeah.
that's $200 or $300. But yeah, it's
Yep.
easier and you earn rewards more when you have a credit card because they make it so easy and you get a whole lot more perks. But if that's not an option for you, there are still other ways that you can earn those and be able to use them towards your travel.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's it. When you I'm getting, hey, what's up, from friends of mine in college or high school. Hey, y'all. I wasn't ignoring y'all. I'm sorry. Uh, but the thing is, when you have an emergency, that's when the problem. That's when having good credit helps you. So, hey, Kenny Cooper, my dog. But that's when it helps you. When you have an emergency, an unexpected emergency, you got to fly to, California for a funeral, God forbid, or somebody's, on their deathbed, or your child has something far away and you got to get there. That's the best thing in the world when you can just, okay, I got it on this card. I remember, and this, I remember one time my mother needed something back when I was a kid. I remember we got down and prayed, and she went and pulled out like them jars. Now you used to keep them jars of coins, and she needed a plane ticket. This is back in the 80s. She needed a plane ticket to go somewhere like immediately. Didn't have the money. She pulled out them jars of coins. We and her sat down, said a prayer, and started counting them coins. And I ain't gonna lie, we came out. She had like $2 or $3 more than she needed for a plane ticket, all in like quarters,
Blessing.
dimes, and nickels. That's got nothing to do with credit, but I just thought about that
But
story.
it's just sometimes that happens. It's like you said,
Yeah,
you earn 60,000
60
miles.
thousand
And
miles.
you
Yeah.
got an emergency where you gotta go
Mm-hmm.
out and you gotta fly to wherever,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yep.
overnight. If you tried to purchase a ticket the same day, that ticket's gonna cost you almost a thousand
Yep.
dollars, even within the
Yep.
US. But if you got
Yep.
those membership rewards, you could take
Bam.
20,000 of those rewards and get a ticket. All
Mm-hmm.
you gotta pay is
Mm-hmm.
11 or 12 bucks towards the fees,
Mm-hmm.
and you got your
Yep.
emergency flight somewhere.
Yep.
So it's like
Yep.
it helps when you need backup or have an emergency that you have to deal with versus having to just pay $1,000 for airfare or drive
Amen to that.
you a long extended period of time to try to get to your
Mm-hmm.
destination.
Nah, you're absolutely right. So hey, before we go, can you show us them guns one more time? Come on, tighten it up, tighten it up.
I work
You
out
look at
trying
you.
to.
It hurt because I was lifted this morning. Oh, I can't tighten it up
I
like
work
I
out
want to.
hard. I work out hard. I'm trying
Mm.
to keep up with
Well,
you.
don't even run it. Don't even run it. You got me beat by a country mile. You looking good there, Vicky.
Thank you. It's
You know,
hard
you
though.
when you popped up in the video, I was like, okay, that's the kind of show we doing today. Let me just sit here and, let me hold my hand up like this in front of half the screen. It's like, girl, it's like, who is that? Anyway, hey Vicky, as always, this was a great show. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time and your
you.
knowledge. All
Thank
right,
you.
everybody,
It's
we're gonna cut
fun.
this off. We're gonna have this up on YouTube in a couple days. Vicky, I'll probably give you a holler in a little bit. All right.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody, take care. Bye bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find past shows on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, or just about anywhere you find fine podcasts and audible content. If you like the show, please leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are or know a sister that be going places, get some swag. Hats and tote bags are ready for your next excursion. Go to our Cafe Press store at cafepress.com/asistuhbegoingplaces.